all new. AM1150 WTMP.com.
All righty. I guess that's the time for which we supposed to start doing what we do. So welcome Tampa Bay.
Live.
Saturday, 1 o'clock, Porch Talk Radio. You are right where you're supposed to be. Things about to happen. I went to Tea&Conversation this morning, and walked in the room and saw that it was almost, if not, I'm gonna say almost as many white folk there as it was black folks.
Eddie, it's not PC.
And the room was full. I mean, it was just a nice sized room. So, and these aren't just your traditional run of the mill white folks either. You know, I gotta say that, because all the white folks that were there came with a purpose. Most of them was candidates who are running for something. Somebody has told them, somebody in their network has said, well, this is where you got to go if you want to see, what black folks are about in Hillsborough County.
Or at least see a bunch of them together.
And they showed up, and some of them were running for judges, and some of them are, lawyers, and some of them running for school board, a county commissioner. Probably had about 4, maybe 5 elected officials there, so they wasn't running for anything, but they were just trying to enhance their visibility. And one of them kind of got, talked about because she was saying she was busy. That's why she hadn't been back. Mm-hmm. Now, she was there all the time when she was running.
Funny how that works out.
But now that she's elected, she ain't got time, and she got a 5-year-old grandson. And even though nobody said it out loud, a lot of folks were saying to themselves, everybody in this room has had a 5-year-old son or grandchild, so that's nothing new. So that's that.
Not a good excuse.
That was an excuse, but it wasn't a good. So that didn't earn them no brownie points. But since they're not running for anything, they didn't need the extra additional brownie points.
They'll be back when it's time for election.
Well, again, when they start running again, they know where to show up. What they did, somebody said this is a good week to show up, so they did. And I gotta say the black folks in the room, were the black folks pretty much has been there for a long time. There was a couple of new faces there, which I gotta say, Candy Lowe has done an excellent job with growing this thing. Because I remember back in the day when it was like, a table half full of people, and now we got a room, packed with folks literally standing out the door trying to get in. So it's come a long way. And like other things in Tampa Bay, it's growing. It's doing what it's supposed to do, and it's getting the attention of some of the people it really supposed to get the attention of, because we got a couple of judges, sitting judges, and I gotta say I haven't been to their courtroom, but being that they've come to a number of these kind of events, and I have seen some of these folks who show up at Tea&Conversation at some other places in the community.
Regularly, you're saying. And
I know that this is not only a regular spot, but somehow, it's become one of the stops. And the fact that they take their time, energy, and effort to show up, I'm not giving the white folks more credit than I'm giving the black folk, but black folks show up for one reason, white folks show up for another reason.
True.
That being that the two are different, I'm saying that the fact that it was almost as many white folks in the room as there was black folks, mean that room is changing, that room is different. It ain't just black folks, discussing issues, that affect black folks. It is black folk discussing issues among people who can make stuff happen.
That's even better.
And change the stuff that happen to black folks. Black folks come in, we talking among each other. Now you got some folks in the room that, if nothing else, they can talk to their friends.
There you go, make it happen.
Even though their friend don't come, they've changed the point of view. So without being on the menu, because they say if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. Mm-hmm. So we got somebody who may not be black, but now they hung around us enough to know, and they've heard some of the stories, and it's not just stories that they've heard at Tea&Conversation, Miss Candy Lowe production. It's making some things different. So I'm gonna say kudos hurrah, dittos, however you want to say, and I'm still everybody's favorite Republican, and they say that.
Well, you're so well spoken, Eddie.
They say that in such a way that I am not offended by it, because the fact of the matter is, more often than not, and then when I look at them around the room, I only see a couple more Republicans in the room, and I did have somebody come up to me as I walked in the room, and like I said, my job is not to recruit for the Republican Party, but every now and then I get a call, or I have somebody walk up to me and say, I am now a Republican, and these are black folks, and mostly males, even though I've had one female, that said it, and it's making a difference. It's not making a big difference. It ain't where we got hundreds of thousands of folks showing up making a difference. But you got to understand how politics work. We're looking at the long picture. You got to have an idea of not 6 months down the road, but 4 or 5 years down the road, where it's going to go, what difference it's going to make. Changing one life. Changing one person's view, changing one person's perspective of how this Democrat-Republican thing works and how it looks and how it can make a difference in a community is what we're trying to do. Again, I'm not trying to recruit for the Republican Party, but what I'm trying to do is change the way folks think so that they, in the future, will have the opportunity to adjust or play the game, alter the perspective so that they come out on the top or the better side of it.
Well, Eddie, and it's not necessarily that you're recruiting for, quote, the Republican Party. You and I just bring truth to these people's front door. There's a reason why we're the #1 show for years now running. All we do is bring the truth and let them think for themselves. We don't have to just give our opinion and call it the fact. People can look it up for themselves. Go to Google, go to DuckDuckGo website, look it up yourself and just see why Eddie and I keep talking about the same thing year in, year out. Do what's right, even when nobody's looking. Eddie keeps bringing out what's going to help the community. I understand that'll help you right now, but is that going to help the community itself, and particularly the black community? And that's powerful right there, Eddie. So if people can't get on board with that, they need to go tune in to CNN and cut their brains off.
And Gabriel has a point in that, now more and more, folks are noticing Gabriel here because it's Eddie and the other guy. They may not say Gabriel, but they do know that there's another guy here.
I'm the voice.
Here with me, and that he's not black, and he brings a different perspective, and I have people say different things, good and bad, about the relationship. But Gabriel been around for the whole 10 years, so as long as I've been here, he's been here, and again, that's purposeful. It serves a purpose in that it's not just a black guy on the radio talking to the community about how we make things good and how to make things better. It's bringing a different perspective to the table, and because he's not black, he's Hispanic, Mexican, Latin,
I call it a Caucasian, or otherwise it'd be a Caucanic. A Caucanic, which is a Caucasian Hispanic.
Yeah.
I was adopted by a British family, but I went through 9 foster homes growing up in the Hispanic community, and then finally ended up by a British family being adopted, and that's how I got this radio voice. So just understanding that after it's all said and done, folks, it's not we're right, we're wrong. It's just you thinking for yourself. And Eddie and I are determined. Eddie listens to the radio, to TV, he reads. I do the same thing throughout the week. So we not just fell off some turnip truck and just thought we'd just walk on in here and talk about our pets and our feet. No, we got some truth to bring.
Washing the dishes.
Yeah, taking pictures of peeling a tangerine. We've got some information that can help you in your life and give you some truth you can add to the foundation. And if you don't like what we're saying, if it's offending you and just getting your shorts all in a twist, maybe it's you.
Well, keep listening. See if you're getting your shorts.
Eddie's nicer than I am, okay? I've been more direct on this.
In a twist, keep listening, because what's going to happen is your shorts will untwist, then you'll understand where we're going.
You'll see the light, you'll walk to the light,
see the
and
light,
everything will be fine.
And all your friends will tell you, no, 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 and then you'll keep walking, and then you'll be a convert. And again, that's not the purpose, but that usually what happens, because with knowledge comes the revolution or the evolution. You will convert and become a better person. And again, not just because I'm telling you some stuff, it's because it will make you think for yourself. It will show you where you've been being misled. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to do, is to show somebody how they're being misled, and they don't just see it, but they realize, they're actually lying to me.
Well, Eddie, right now the media's going full blast that all that Trump is doing, just moving along with Obama's economy. Well, funny how Obama didn't take any credit for the Bush economy when he inherited it. He said it stank. He said it sucked, basically. It was a crap sandwich.
But he kept saying it was Bush economy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even
3 years in, 4 years in,
5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years.
It's still the Bush economy.
And finally, Trump comes in and undoes some of his legacy and begins to do the deregulation, begins to do the tax cut, begins to do the trades with other countries that help our farmers out. Suddenly, jobs are exploding all over this nation.
The economy is booming.
And now Obama says, "Oh, that's I did
my
that."
Economy. That's my economy. Well, I'm gonna tell you, folks. I am sorry. I'm gonna apologize now, because it's almost 10 minutes into the show.
Oh yeah, who are we?
Yeah, we haven't even started the show yet. So, I had some on my heart. As folks say, I had some on my heart. I had to get it out, and next thing I know, we're 12 minutes into the show. But this is Porch Talk Radio. This is your favorite host on WTMP. This is Eddie Adams Jr. I'm sitting here with my co-host, Gabriel Phillips, and we do this every week for 1 hour. It's kind of like the Twilight Zone. You listen to the radio all day and all night, and then this 1 o'clock on Saturday hour come, and it's different. It's different for a reason. And we got a lot of folks listening. I got a young lady I met this week. I kind of heard of her before, but we sat down and had lunch, and she was telling me about her son Curtis, and she was telling. Now this is my info to you. She was saying that Curtis reminds me it's time for your show. Curtis is 11 years old. So I know we appeal to an older age group. And I know I got folks who have teenagers in the house who like to listen to the show, but at 11, you're not even a teenager yet. You're 1 year or 2 years from being a teenager, so you're not really a teenager, and that's what it's about. If I can get somebody at 11 years old to understand what we're talking about.
Come on, Eddie, don't do this.
When they get to be 15 or 16, they're gonna be hell on wheels because they're gonna understand what's happening out there, and that it's not what you see, it's all that stuff behind what you see, and it's all orchestrated. And if you can understand a little bit of that just by some of the stuff I'm saying, and what I do is I want you to question some of the stuff that's a lot of people take for granted. And if you start questioning stuff at 11, hopefully it don't get you in trouble. You can question it without being forceful and throwing it at folks, because I'm 66 and I still don't throw it at folks, because I know different people take it different ways. But at the end of the day, I know it's gonna make you a better person, and it don't matter what age you are, for some of this stuff, because some of this stuff, they're telling you every day, they pounded it into your head. This is it.
24/7.
This is it. This is it. This is it. And all the time they know it's not it. They're lying.
So, folks, just to prove Eddie's point here about things that just because you hear it, just think of this: if 1 million people have a wrong idea, you know what, folks? It's still a wrong idea. So, if they all want to believe and protect their friends in politics, and the media is on board with that, it's been proven time and time again already that that's what they're doing. And then we find out that the Russian hoax was just a waste of taxpayer money for 3 years, and they knew it because it was something that Hillary's campaign paid money for to someone who said, I lied. And after he said he lied, the media still ran with it. That didn't work. And you got to think, folks, why is so much heat coming down on Trump 24/7? Because he's about to undo some corruption that we all know has been there.
Yeah, but
and they're all fighting for it to
that's
keep
been
it.
part of the game plan. but I'm gonna tell you what I use a lot, and I know I got probably as many white listeners to this program as I do black. They know this program is not intended to be, politically correct, and so I don't make errors or try to be somebody that I'm not. I'm talking to you from my heart. And for 400 years, slavery was the law of the land. It was the rule. Everybody understood it. At no point in time was it right. If you understand what I'm saying, it's that big a difference between right and wrong. A lot of folks knew it was wrong. A lot of folks knew it wasn't right, but it was still the law of the land, and folks died, and folks got the hell whooped out of them and everything else, and they could always say, well, it's the law. Well, again, that don't, because it's always been done that way, don't mean that it's right. And that's one thing I want you to remember.
And today, right now, to prove that point even further, Eddie, if we looked at abortion being legal to kill babies with government-funded dollars, taxpayer money, that's a law. It's okay to kill babies, even though it has a heartbeat and all that.
Ain't never been right, though. It's never
but it's
been
the
right
law.
to kill
anybody. And same thing with slavery. It was wrong.
Yeah.
And, of course, it started out with the Muslims originally, and Africa started selling off the people, and a few white people bought it up in the north part of our country initially in the beginning days, mainly Democrats. Actually, all but Democrats.
But see, the North was just as prejudiced and racist as the South was. They just had a different program. They had a different marketing scheme. But again, let me go ahead and start the show. Before we get halfway through the show,
fire bombs being thrown everywhere.
Won't even have started the show. This is Porch Talk Radio. If you want to call in during the show, the call-in number here at WTMP is 813-251-9867. 813-251-9867. And if you want to call me after the show, sometime during the week, to talk about an issue you may have, my cell phone number, Eddie Adams Jr. cell phone number, and I gave my cell phone number out to a lot of people at the Tea&Conversation today because they wanted to talk, and they want to talk to you. This is a great audience. My audience is probably second to probably only Rush Limbaugh's audience.
And we got movers and shakers in our in our group that listen to us, people that make things happen. We've had several of them on here, fine people. Yeah. They believe what they believe in, they got a passion for it, and they go after it.
We got guests coming up in the next few weeks. We got the chairman of the Hillsborough County Republican Executive Committee, talked to me, at the meeting last Thursday about coming on the show. We got a couple of candidates coming on the show. And all those who listen to the show on a regular basis know we don't just do Republican candidates. If I like a candidate, if it's a candidate that I think is going to do the community well, I don't, do Democrat, Republican, only Republicans, whatever. I'm going to do what I think is going to help this community move, whatever moves this community forward. That's who we bring on the show. That's who I introduce to you. I don't always endorse all the candidates that show up on my show, but that's what you do. You had the opportunity to go out, work, send them money, help them, do whatever you do. But the people that I present to you are people who I think are good for this community. Be it, House, Senate, national, local, and those are the good people. And again, some of them may not be Republicans.
And again, Eddie, but these are good people that you've met, you've talked to, you've seen them in the community doing stuff. Now, occasionally we have our little firebombs thrown at us when we go to events outside of our normal studio here, to where we've had wacky people sit down. Let's say they're with the Democratic Party and they've got rubber chickens hanging off their neck and they can't wait to follow through on abortion. You're like, oh boy.
Or like when I went to D.C. and everybody walking around with vagina suits on, females. But again, we won't talk about that.
No.
Because we got young folks.
But those are the ones that are calling Trump insane.
Yeah, but those are we won't do that. I know we got young folks listening. But again, this whole thing is about perception. There's a marketing machine apparatchik out there that used to bending people to their will, and for black folks to be manipulated like that, I'm just telling you, that day has come and gone, and we're smarter than that. As a community, we're smarter than that, and we're not going to put up with it anymore. So let me give out the cell phone number. My cell phone number is 813-230-3312. 813-230-3312. If you want to email me, Eddie, EDDIE, at porchtalkradio.com. Porchtalkradio.com is the website. So we got all the information out there. And what I want to talk about today, and I usually don't sit through a Democratic debate. I'm just saying, I usually don't.
Eddie, it was so funny. How could you not have? It was hysterical. I loved it.
I did.
It was very funny. I
It
hadn't
was-
laughed so hard in a long time.
It was. I like how several years ago, when the Republicans were going through this process, you know, everybody was jumping on Trump, and Trump was handing it back and taking it, and at the end of the day,
He beat out 16, Eddie.
we ended up with the best candidate.
He beat out 16.
Well, Bloomberg
Shorty?
took an old fashioned, and
You gonna say it? I'm
gonna say ass
Come
whooping.
on.
Because ain't too many things substitute for an ass whooping. Matter of fact, the New York Post or New York Times, I saw a picture that they had. He was all black and blue, and they jumped on that dude and they whooped him a good one.
And do you know he paid half a $500 million he paid for that whipping.
But they think it's just money. See, and that's another thing. At the end
He
of
bought
the
the
day,
Democratic Party.
at the end of the day,
They changed the rules,
it's
Eddie.
not always just about money. And if you make it just about money, they're gonna be getting their butt whooped for a couple more years. And let me tell you this: that debate, that process, I looked at it. It became entertaining because they were talking about
Themselves.
Trump, State of the Union, was a reality show. Well, that was a reality show. It was, and I'm gonna tell you something else. And nobody probably noticed this but me. And if you did, I'm just pointing out the way folks were set up on the stage. The way they had, Bloomberg next to, to
Warren went on the warpath.
and then they had, Buttigieg next
Booty
to
call? That's booty call.
they had Buttigieg next to Amy, and then somehow touchy Biden kept putting his hands on Buttigieg. Did you notice that? Everybody else were talking, having conversation. Now I say, I wonder if with me, the only one of you noticing that this guy talking and keep putting his hand
Booty call's the youngest one up there,
on Buttigieg's arm. He kept touching him. And
knows
he
he's
didn't
taken
react.
already.
I don't know if nobody saw that but me, but nobody mentioned it. But I'm just saying, I can have a conversation with somebody, especially somebody I'm claiming not to like and not be touching you. I'm sorry. At some point in time, that touchy-feely thing, somebody in his campaign got to tell him, you cannot keep touching folks. And, that's a guy. Had he been next to one of them girls and been touching like that,
Well, but booty call is like a girl.
I'm not doing all that.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I'm not doing all that. I'm just saying the conversation. He actually looked alive because he's been dead for the last several debates. So Joe Biden came alive. Bernie Sanders kind of got flustered there because he raised his hand and it wasn't recognized.
He starts yelling.
I guess he wasn't. He was upset because somehow he thought he was supposed to be doing all of the talking, but the person who did the most of the talking was Warren. Warren had, somebody sits back and determines how much time each candidate actually talks.
She was on
live
attack mode.
on the air. So the fact that she had a tomahawk out and was
Horse-faced lesbian attack.
taking scalps, and when she said that Bloomberg said I'll do you in a minute or something like that. That was funny because it's different when a
Well,
guy.
that'd be a short minute because he's short.
Different when a guy said it than it is when a girl say. When the girl say, oh well, I'm not talking about Trump. I'm talking about Mike Bloomberg said those things. So
She went after him.
So-
She came after with it. But folks and
she
ladies and
jumped on him
gentlemen,
with both feet.
it was funny as hell because there were 3 78-year-olds fighting on who had the most stints. That was like, and they're going to run our country? That's great. They'll be ready to stroke just trying to get the inauguration.
Yeah.
And then we had Warren, who was on the absolute, she was the pit bull of that night. I don't know how much money she was given to do it, but she went after Bloomberg with a passion.
But
and
he's
she
not
was
even
right.
on the ballot. He wasn't even on the ballot.
But he paid money just to show up there because he wanted to do it. And there's people, I know there's some people fired after that. They're supposed to coach him.
Yeah. Well, okay, we got a caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. We kind of got fired up here and got stuff going. But,
We're good. Join in.
But join in the fray and welcome. Who are you? Where you calling from?
Yeah, Eddie, this is Brother Travis. I want to say to you, first of all, on that debate, I looked at everybody on that stage, boy. Ain't nobody on that impressed me at all.
Well, I'm
and
glad.
I'm telling you, and Bloomberg had no pivot. He didn't have enough sense to pivot and say, Joe Biden, you were the part of the 1994 crime bill that put a lot of black men in prison.
Right.
True.
So, you're going to beat him up for stopping frisk.
Right.
He couldn't pivot. But the non-disclosure, he got beat up. They got whooped like a runaway slave, man.
He got beat up bad. I'm telling you, that was an old-fashioned
whipping.
Old-fashioned ass whooping.
I wasn't impressed with Elizabeth Warren either, because she sounded desperate.
Yeah,
she was. She was.
He talking that socialist talk, but he got a hunk of money too, and he rich too. He got 2 or 3 homes. He's talking about homeless people. Let the homeless people stay in one of your mansions.
Well,
all of it has the baggage, man.
Elizabeth Warren looked like a wife who showed up at the club and saw her man with another man.
And the other thing, Eddie, was the Gorbachev, her thing with the 16-year-old kid, where she was a 16-year-old black woman, she was prostitute. All of them had some baggage, man. So it didn't look well at all. But anyway, I wanted to comment on that first before I talk about my event.
Thank you.
Let me just announce about the event.
Go ahead.
This coming Friday, I announced it last week, is Masjid al-Nas, our community mosque, Islam's contribution to Black history. It's going to be Friday, February 28th at 7 p.m. at the Islamic Society of Tampa Bay. That's on the corner of Slide Art Road, 7326 East Slide. We're going to be honoring Sister Connie Burns. She will be getting the Marcus Garvey Liberation Award, and Sister Candy Lowe will be getting the Madam C.J. Walker Economic Empowerment Award, and Abdullah will be getting the Masjid al-Nasser Chairman's Award. So if you want to come, the tickets are only $25, and you can go to Eventbrite, or you can call me at 813-787-6652, 813-787-6652, Islam's contribution to Black history. Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Jarvis the good brother. No matter where I see Jarvis, if Jarvis is there before I get there, I know I'm welcome. So I'm good.
It's good to have friends out there like that, people that are solid in the community, and know what to talk about, don't lead you wrong, no BS.
Jarvis is a community activist, and he don't get the flame and the flare that some of our magic black females get, but Jarvis is out there, and he continues to work, and he is one of those folks who help make this community better.
And that's what it takes.
So thank you, Jarvis. Thank you for calling in. And this is what I tell folks sometimes, because I walk in places and people hand me flyers and can you announce this and can you announce that, and I say, well, I have a call-in show. The nature of the show is that if you got something you need to say, don't hand me a piece of paper, because I may not get to it. Because once I start talking, like you said,
we're rolling.
It took us 12 minutes to get the show started. Once
and
I
we
start
still
talking,
got plenty to go.
I get to going, and I forget that if I got a piece of paper, I'm supposed to be reading something off, because this show is unscripted. If you know what unscripted means, that means you don't have a script that you're reading off and trying to do the show.
Eddie, let me try and do this now. Unscripted is a professional way to say flying by the seat of our pants. But we've been doing it after 10 years now, and Eddie knows, and I know that if we read our material, if we're involved in the community, in fact tonight, the Dominicans are having a gathering here in Tampa,
and we got
to
another
help protest of what's happening in the Dominican Republic right now, when the government went up for an election last 2 weeks, and he said, no, we're not going to do it, we're going to do something else. People up in arms, it's wrong.
All right, okay, caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this Saturday afternoon. Who are you, and what say you? Where are you calling from?
Adam from Tampa.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm glad that y'all were entertained by the debate. You said that you liked Elizabeth Warren giving a butt whooping to Bloomberg. The thing is that she can do the same thing if she were ever faced against 45, because they have similar type of baggage that they carry, because she can talk about horse-face lesbian, and she can also talk about the Access Hollywood tape where the current occupant of the Oval Office bragged about sexual assault.
That's old news. Is that all you got, buddy?
By their genitals.
Yeah.
What else you got?
But again, let's think about this. The audience that went through this whole process, 4 years ago when the Republicans was doing it. See the difference between Bloomberg and Trump. Trump is not gonna stand there and let somebody whoop his ass, no matter who it is.
That's very
be it
true.
male or female. And Trump ain't gonna take it. Bloomberg kind of said, "Well, I'm a billionaire, but I gotta take it." That's the difference between letting somebody beat you and giving somebody a stick to whoop your butt with. See, that's the difference. See, if you got a fighter don't care who he's fighting. Because you're a man, you don't have to let a woman beat your butt. I'm telling you, because somebody beating you real bad, it hurt. It don't matter where the licks are coming from. So at the end of the day, you got to stand up and defend yourself. Like I say, I ain't saying go out and beat up no woman, but what I'm saying is you don't got to stand there and take it, especially if she beating you as bad as that butt whooping he took.
But
you've grown up in a situation where your mother told you that the worst you can try to do is defend something that's defenseless. So if you are telling,
there's nothing that's defenseless. I'm sorry.
What did you say?
Yeah, I'm just sorry.
I'm just saying if something isn't true.
Well, people lie all the time. All you gotta do is turn your radio, TV, your computer on,
24/7.
and that's all you're gonna get. So what determines what's true and what's not true? In a courtroom, the lawyer who's defending you bring his set of facts, and the lawyer that's trying to put you in jail, he brings his set of facts, and everybody's probably telling the truth. But at the end of the day, it's what rings out, and when it's all measured and it's all said and it's all done for, somebody else make the decision. So it's not always facts and truth that wins the day. I'm just saying.
Money. The thing is that with as far as with Bloomberg and what was being recounted as far as what he said, that's somebody's account. But the thing is that we actually have a tape where you actually have the person. If
this the debate we're talking about, the debate we talked about happened Wednesday. So again, if you want to talk about that debate, we can. But we're not talking about this is like I told you before. If you call this program, this is not a program that I'm paying for somebody else to talk bad about Trump. It ain't gonna happen. I told you that before. We don't do that, here. And I said it before. And he's called before. And I don't mind. I debate. But what the difference is I pay for this hour, and for this whole hour, I get to say what I want to say, and I control what's being said, and I control what goes out over the airway, and I'm not embarrassed about it, and I'm not shame of it. This is my time. And so if I want to listen to somebody talk about Trump, I'll go to MSNBC, or some CNN, or one of those other places. This ain't that.
As we go forward with everything, understanding that since the Pope job was already taken, America wasn't looking for the Pope. If we looked at all of the accomplishments this guy has done, nothing being perfect, because I believe the story goes, he that has done something wrong, throw the first stone. So it's an understanding that after it's all said and done, we're in a good place with the right person. It's funny to me, although, Eddie, this word irony, this black man sounded like a nice guy on the phone, called and was defending the white woman that had the Black Aunt Jemima thing in her video she did of her kitchen as she was trying to drink a beer to appear normal. I'm like, where does the irony stop with people trying to defend these racist Democrats that are running right now? It just goes on and on. You finally have to say, you know what, we got to pull the plug, and that's you that's got to pull the plug. Good luck.
Trump may have done some things in his youth.
No question.
Everybody has done some stuff that they may not be proud of, but I'm gonna tell you the difference is what he's doing now is he has given. I got a list about 20 things that Trump has done for the black community as a whole that he ain't had to do, because ain't nobody else do it, and Obama didn't do it. But at the end of the day, it's what you do. Measure me on my character, my current character. Well, my granddaddy and my great-great-granddaddy, well, those folks are dead and gone, and their accomplishments and their deeds, many of them are dead and gone. At the end of the day, if he's doing something now that's offending and hurting black folks, I'm going to be the first one to stand up and speak out about it. But don't tell me about something he did, 4 or 5 years ago, or something he did 20 years ago. He grabbed somebody's crotch 20 years ago. Hell, I may have grabbed somebody's crotch 20 years ago. It ain't public news because it's not a big deal. and because he's president, they make like it's a big deal. Bloomberg has done some stuff because he's a billionaire, and the folks he was doing it to back then. Matter of fact, Bloomberg trying to become president of the United States of America, he don't even have a wife. So what do we call?
That's right.
So what do we call the first lady, the first hoe, or the first whatever? Well, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's something about having a wife if you want to be president, but he don't have one. So if somebody's gonna jump on him, somebody gonna say something about that.
And if that's the case, hey, let's keep on this path real quick. It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, it is.
But if that's the case, Trump's been married 3 times.
Yeah.
4 times.
Yeah.
4 times. Okay. So he doesn't give up. He's got a great lady. He's got some great kids out of all this.
He's got a good family.
He's doing the best he can with what he knows.
Right.
There's no one perfect in any of this picture.
Yeah.
And if they say, well, let's see who's more perfect than the other. Oh, well I don't know.
And that's not how you measure somebody either. Because at the end of the day, you become the sum of your faults and your pluses and your minuses. You become the sum of those things. And if somebody, you know, like I told somebody, I was talking to someone this week, you know, I was saying, well, when I first ran for U.S. Congress, you know, my October surprise was somebody came up, you know, and wrote a newspaper ad about something I did 50 years ago. I was in my 20s, my late teens, you know, that I got arrested. Well, that first time they put it out there.
I think you look nice and striped anyway.
The second time I put it out there because I want to control my own destiny. Nobody knows more about what I did, you know, in my youth than I did. And the fact that it was 40, 50 years ago, you know, should not matter, but it does to some people when they're trying to find something to use against you. And if you got to go back 40 years to find something against me, against anybody else, you know, that don't reflect so badly on that person's character as it does on yours. Because if you're scraping that hard to say, well, this person did something 40 years ago, you know how many generations that is, that somebody gonna hold something back, you know, good, bad, and indifferent. Now, if you gave somebody $1 million 40 years ago, you know, that's a good thing. You know, you can bring that up. But somebody you touch, somebody you had a dispute with, they have disputes on this radio airway, on this radio station. You know, every Saturday there's somebody messing, as Black folks say, messing with somebody else. Mm-hmm. You know, every week on this airway, not this show, but on other shows. So again, at the end of the day, it's really about, you know, what have you done for me lately? You know, like Janet Jackson say, what have you done for me lately? And that's more the mantra we want to do here. That's more the stuff we want to do here. That's how we want to run this stuff. If we want to move everything forward, we're not going back, you know, 20 years to take something.
And again, Andy, I think you've hit it right there on the head, saying, you know what? How are we doing today with all this? How are we prospering? And this current president has brought more prosperity to this nation in many different ways, from the policy standard, from our foreign affairs standards that have now been raised. There's so much positive that if he was busy back before he was president grabbing crotches, well, if he was single, well, more power to him. That's his business. Right. Now that he's gone forward, he said, you know what, I have changed my own ways. I'm now going to be doing this. Then if grace and mercy is not in you, then okay, that's fine, that's you. But if that's the case, you shouldn't be talking to anybody.
Well, it's enough, you know, folks, you know, I've been into this political thing, and I've spent a number of weeks in Washington, D.C. as an outsider, you know, trying to get elected, you know, but it's stuff going on in Washington, D.C., period, that folks know. In between the houses of ill repute and some of the congressional houses and some of the houses of the Senate and stuff that's going on in those buildings, not talking about outside the building, in those buildings, some of the advantages being taken of some of those pages and students and young girls and young guys and stuff. You know, none of this stuff is perfect. And if you look at it, you know, with a truthful heart and an eye, and if you pull up all the folks that's been mistreated in this process, it's going to be an awful lot of them, and an awful lot of them look like us. You know, what we're trying to do is change some of that. So again, at the end of the day, this program is not designed to defend Donald Trump. But what I will not do, because I pay for every show that you hear my voice on, is let somebody on my dime, you know, cut him down, or make it like he's, you know, the Satan. You can make me the Satan, but you're not going to make somebody else to say on my dime. that's just the way it worked. And if you want a show, if you actually want a radio program where you can give your views and your opinion, you can show up down here, talk to Howard Word, and he'll give you a show. Matter of fact, he won't give it to you. He'll let you pay for a show, and you can say what the hell you want.
Ain't nothing free.
And then I have the option to listen to your show and not
And
listen
call
to
you in and say, hey.
not listen to your show.
Let's fuss.
I mean, that's how it worked.
Tussle.
So before we go on to our next topic, let me go ahead and get I got this roll going on this day.
Come on, let's hit it. Break it up.
For those who listen to the show on a regular basis, we try to bring some entertainment value, to this whole hour of ranting and raving and having people cut off and that kind of stuff. We don't enjoy doing it, but we figure that there's a learning curve. If you call this show and several times a month you get cut off or kicked off the air, you would learn, but some people don't. And so if you got patience enough to call and continue, we got patience enough to kick your ass off the air.
There you go.
I'm good like that.
Hey, sleep fine all night long.
I'm good like that.
Absolutely.
So
moving on.
And as I told you, I met a friend this week, and she said, her 11-year-old actually laughs at some of my jokes. So there you go. So that's a good thing too.
Poor child.
So I know that's a true fan. He laughs at some of my jokes. So that's the meter. If an 11-year-old laughs at your joke and you're 50, 60 years old, then that means, there's a connection there.
Something wrong with that child. And
that's important. So anyway, on this day, on February 22nd, 1819, Spain succeeded Florida to the United States. So we were a Spanish colony, and we became part of the United States on this day. On this day, February 22nd, 1865, Tennessee adopted the new Constitution that abolished, boy, my mouth is not working today, that abolished slavery.
Abolished.
On this day, February 22nd, 1885, the Washington Monument was officially dedicated in Washington, D.C. It opened the same night. It opened a year later in 1889. So that's 1885. It opened in 1889.
That's a while back.
Yeah, but there's the Washington Monument. So they did the dedication. I guess they closed it to do some more work on it, and then they opened it again in a couple of years.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, they could do that. On this day, on February 22nd, 1924, U.S. President Calvin Coolidge, remember him, delivered the first presidential radio broadcast from the White House.
Really? They had radio back then?
Yeah, so
wow.
that's kind of like...
That was a big deal.
That's like Trump's version of tweets. He did direct communication to the people of the United States by radio from the White House. So that was February 22nd, 1924.
Wow. And nowadays, I think that's why the media is still so mad at President Trump, because he's not using their platform.
They still butthurt.
Yeah.
And a little bit of science. On this day,
science.
1997, Scottish scientist Ian Wilmot and his colleagues announced that an adult sheep had been cloned successfully. If y'all know, if you remember Dolly was actually born on July the 5th, 1996. But they, waited and make sure she was going to survive and wasn't going to die in 6 months and all that kind of stuff before they let everybody know. And she was the first mammal that had been successfully cloned to through an adult cell. So
wouldn't it be just cheaper instead of all that research and all that, just to go have some lambs and
now a lot of your meat's produced through cloning. You know,
But they're using vegetables in some of it now,
They
and it's
clone-
fake meat they're using now.
Yeah, but they clone sheeps and cows and goats and lambs and all that kind of stuff now. So it's a lot of stuff. You can't tell whether they did the Humpty Dump in the field, whether they got a cell, in the lab somewhere and did it there. So
I learned
you can't
from,
tell the meat taste. A steak still tastes the same.
I learned from a friend of mine that used to raise cattle that McDonald's buys all of cattle that have contracted with them.
Yeah.
And if they got a cow that's missing an eye or three-legged, they'll just cut the price down on it because they grind it all up. You'd never know.
Well, again, that's why they had that.
Did this cow have Did this burger patty have two eyes or one eye?
The mad cow disease back in England. When half the cows were going bad.
How about that coronavirus,
in
huh?
the fields. So,
What's the word on that thing?
Well,
In the communist country, it happened in a communist country. I think they just want to get rid of the population.
well, they're doing it. The corona is China's version of Ebola, but it's not nearly as messy, evidently. But it showed wiping out some folks, and the Chinese is not a third world nation.
But they're not going to let us in to find out either.
But they trying to keep this to themselves, and that's a good thing.
I think it's population control, lady.
Because they can lose a few people and not even miss them.
It's a thinning the herd because they're seeing on satellites, they're seeing the sulfur clouds that are rising up from certain little towns out there around this Wuhan.
Yeah.
And they said the only reason that sulfur is used in the cleansing is they're burning bodies.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's just crowd control, folks. Just thinning of the herd for a communist country, no big deal.
Well, they got 1 billion people, so they got over 1 billion people. So this may be it, but I'm gonna tell you something. They don't have the politics that we have, so it's easier for them to hide stuff like this, and you don't know what you're getting. You're getting what they tell you because they don't have no overwatch. They have nobody that's looking over what they're doing, and the United States can't look over what they're doing because we are the enemy, and they tell us what they want us to know.
Mm-hmm.
At some point in time, it will kill enough people to where they will come to us for help. At that point in time, we'll go
don't worry about it.
and do like we do everywhere else. We'll save the world, and the American scientist or German scientist or somebody who comes up with the idea. It won't be a Chinese scientist that solves that particular problem. Because if they could, they would. They would have already done it.
And again, they had initial stories out on the coronavirus that it was actually something that's been created in a lab. We were told bats and blah, 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 and they've now come back and said, no, it was actually made by humans in a lab. Now, if it was the Gates Foundation that funded that, that's another story, who knows. But the fact that it was man-made to begin with, I think it just thinned the herd, period, just getting rid of the herd out there.
Well, part of what happens nowadays is
They can do that whenever they want, Eddie.
Kind of like AIDS. I'm a microbiologist, and I say that because I spent the time, energy, and the effort to get a degree that says I was a microbiologist, and that some of this stuff I actually knew. And most of the things that are around today have been around pretty much a long damn time.
Mm-hmm.
And so every now and then something pop up and start killing a bunch of folks that ain't been around. It ain't a mutation. It ain't something that transformed, decided to pop up one day, especially something as virulent as this disease. Something that's killing the number of people that this thing is killing. Every now and then, science goes crazy. Something get out the lab that ain't supposed to get out the lab. And now it's in the population, and they can't control it. Usually, when stuff is made, they make the good stuff over here, and they make the battle or the combatant for it or something that will eradicate it over on the other side. So they make them both at the same time.
Oh.
So when, this thing gets perfected, they can handle it. They can keep it under control. Usually, the virus or the bacteria of whatever the microbe is that fungi, whatever it is that they're going to use to kill folks, they usually got an antidote for it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
When they don't have an antidote for it, and it gets out in the general population the way this thing did, that lets you know they don't have the sake or wherewithal or the money or the resource or whatever to fix it. That's how you found out about it. Other than that, you'd have never even knew they had anything going on in China. But when they started killing people all over the world, Then all of a sudden, everybody's eyebrows lifted and all the scientists are in an uproar. But again, at the end of the day, until the Chinese government decide they're going to let y'all do something about it, you can't do doodly damn squat.
And again, the whole idea of understanding that with these viruses, we have our CDC, and we try and work with these other countries, and that means we have to be allowed into their country, and we have to go check things out, and they don't want to do that in communist China, because they say, we got this. We got a few 100,000 down, but we got this. Like,
Well,
okay.
we got this until we don't.
Yeah, then it's your problem. But I think the fact that we had actual airplanes coming in and out of those areas,
Yeah.
and people were getting on board these planes or those things, bring it over here, like, well, we got a problem now. Now it's messing with our people.
Well, the social economics of that whole thing is gonna hit Walmart the hardest. I know you Walmart shopper don't want to hear that, but all that stuff that's coming in on a weekly, daily, monthly basis from China, that goes straight to Walmart ain't gonna be coming, because the people in China who used to work for little or nothing every day, now the government ain't letting them show up to work. More and more stuff in China is not happening, and as more and more of that stuff stop happening, the more and more we're gonna feel it over here. So the prices of stuff is gonna go up.
So Walmart, which is China's main
Distributor,
it seems like. Everything is made in China.
Yep.
And when you go into Walmart,
Yep.
Then you'll probably find the price
That's why it's
jumping.
cheap.
Yeah, you probably find the price jumping up another 50 cents or something like that, depending on what it is. Eddie, one last time, I want to touch on this. In the Dominican Republic, they're supposed to have had their elections. They were suspended by the Central Electoral College or Board there in Dominican Republic due to the series of technical difficulties, sound familiar, Democratic Party, found in the electronic ballot machines used to elect 3,849 positions in 158 municipalities, according to routers. Now hundreds of protesters are taking to the street demanding that all of this be fixed and stepped down for the corruption. So in other words, they have corruption, like most democracies. Everybody knows it exists. They're supposed to have an election to come on out and get some new people in there, and the current people in power said, no, we ain't doing that because we think we got technical issues. We got that same program that the Iowa caucus used. We've been trying to use it over here, and it's messing up. Okay, so that's a stretch. But the people in power in a democracy decided not to step down. Folks, democracy, socialism, communism, they all sound different, don't they?
Well, I'm tell you something about Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders said, "I will transform this country," and when he means transform this country, anybody that's stupid, and I don't usually call names, but stupid enough, crazy enough to have somebody tell you, "I'm gonna turn the country into a socialist," mecca.
How's that worked out for Venezuela?
For you to vote for somebody, and for you as a community not to know the difference between socialism, and that's what they tried to create with the Democratic Party, free. That's what that stuff is all about. That is socialist, because at some point in time somebody's gonna have to pay for it. They say it won't be you, but it is gonna be you.
So anybody's welcome to call us in and let us know which country has socialism working out.
Well, why aren't people flocking in droves to go from America to all those other socialist countries? Because I'm gonna tell you something. When you get there, you're gonna find it ain't what they've been marketing, it ain't what they've been selling, ain't what they've been smuggling. So
how many rafts have we seen of Americans out on the ocean trying to get to a socialist country, Eddie?
Well, I ain't seen none
of
my own.
Because it don't work.
One last thing, okay? Bloomberg is worth $65.2 billion.
Well, Trump has got chump change in.
That race that we all keep hearing about, and they're supposed to have another, Tom Schreier is out there, so they're gonna fill that race up with billionaires, cause somehow they missed the whole point of the 2016 election. Trump did not win that election because he self-funded it. He did not win it, because he was the best candidate. He did not win it for all the stuff that a lot of people think. Trump won it because at the end of the day, he got enough people to believe what he was saying. And so what has he done? He's kept his promises. That's important. A lot of folks don't realize, a lot of candidates say a lot of stuff. As soon as they get elected, they forget all that stuff they were campaigning on. Trump hasn't. That's been his best attribute since he's been president. All those promises made, he's turning around and keeping them. That's what's going to get him reelected. It ain't the fact that he got billions of dollars. He can fight, dollar for dollar with the rest of them. But the folks aren't buying that.
So Eddie, just like our caller that was a little butthurt that Elizabeth Warren he thought was the one, but how do you judge a character of someone, Eddie? If especially when it comes to politics, if they said they're going to do something, and then they go get it done, you'd say that's a person of good character. If they're the opposite, they make all these promises, and they keep none of them.
It ain't what you say.
Then you'd say that's bad character.
It's what you do.
But people judging and saying, okay, that's fine. Let's judge off of accomplishments. Bernie's been up there for 40-something years, I think, already.
He's been a senator. He's been in the government that long.
And he's been involved in how many bills, how many things he's done for his community, how many things he passed? 3.
And he ain't done nothing for black folks.
No, nothing at all.
At the end of the day, and people say, well, Trump ain't doing nothing for black people. Trump has given millions of dollars.
Prison reform that affects black people.
To historically black colleges.
Pardons he's done to black people.
I mean, that's it's a lot of stuff
Obama
out there.
didn't do that.
At the end of the day, that makes a difference, not just to you, but to your community. So if you're looking at this as a community-wide thing, and mostly, that's my mantra, is what I'm trying to do is make the community better. How to move this whole thing forward for everybody. The rising tide. And for those who know those old fables, I am not the guy who's trying to help you by giving you a fish. I'm not the guy who's going to teach you how to fish so you can feed your family for a week.
Fishing.
I want the whole damn lake. I want every fish in it. I want it to be mine so I can fish whenever I get
Eddie's
good.
a bit more selfish than me. I just want somebody to fix it for me. That's all I want.
Ready, I can go fishing if I want. I ain't got to ask your permission, and I ain't got to beg you for no darn fish. So with that being said.
So folks, just understanding, what do you judge a person by? Their character. What's their character about? Do they say what they're going to do? Do they do it? Do they follow through on it? Or are they just making baloney? We've got a lot of people, local politicians, that have said lots of things before they get in office, none of it happens. If you looked at all the things that Trump promised, he has made them happen, period. That, to me, is in high regard of somebody. He says what he says he's going to do. Eddie's has been helping the community. He talks about helping the community, and he does it. That is someone of higher character, and someone just wants to just talk about whatever, but where are they?
Well, we're going to bring some people and introduce you to them in the next couple of weeks. That's folks who are going to help this community out.
Live.
And we're going to make some stuff happen in this community. So take it from me, from my mouth to your ears. We're going to do some things. We're going to be responsible for some things happening for the betterment of this entire community. So we're fighting the battle. All we need is for you to fight with us.
Strong.
So keep listening. We love you, Tampa Bay. Until next week, same bat time, same bat station.
God bless America.
See you then. Bye-bye.